Hello, and welcome to a Phantom Knights deck profile, or rather a Grind Phantom Knights deck profile, or Djinn deck, or Djinn Phantom Knights deck profile, whatever version you want to call it. Basically, this list was created by the Yu-Gi-Oh! VTuber VanillaScoop, and this is basically my take on it. As I have been playtesting the deck quite a bit, I took it to locals this week and actually did quite well with it. And so basically, I just made some tweaks that suit my personal playstyle. More alongside the types of. I basically just catered it towards me, and I'm sharing that list. But this is still very much the core of the deck is still Vanilla Scoop's deck. So if you've seen that video, you basically know how most of the deck works, and you know why we play certain cards. So I recommend you go check out that video. So let's just get into the deck profile. But before we do, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm trying to grow the channel. Also follow me on Twitch. I stream there regularly. And also follow me on social media. I'm pretty funny. So let's get started with the main deck. So for the main deck, we start off with our Phenomons. So we have three copies of Tornscales, the best starter in the deck. He basically does everything. It's really our, only normal summon in the sense that we want to normal summon this card. There aren't really any other cards that we're happy to normal summon, so we're always trying to see the Tornscale. Effect is pretty simple. Discard a card, send a Phantom Knights card from deck to the graveyard, and then if you banish a Phantom Knights card while this card is in your graveyard, you can summon him, but he banishes himself when he leaves the field. But if you're a good Phantom Knights player, you know that you usually use him for Xyz material, so then you can put him back as a way to stop his effect from getting banished. And you can kind of just loop this. So that's Tornscale, and then we have three copies of Ancient Cloak. This is the other card that I'm okay to normal summon, because this card really is sort of like a pseudo-extender in the sense that he can grab you whatever you're missing, but you're not really trying to normal summon him. It just doesn't suck as bad if you have to. Also, another tip with Cloak, if you ever manage to have Cloak on the field while you have Bardiche, make sure you use Cloak's effect to make Bardiche 29, so he's not as easy to beat over. That is something that is actually really, really important. It makes it so that your opponent can't just really, swing with their Pankratops or something, or their Cyber Dragon, just a nice little tip. And then we have three copies of Silent Boots, the extender, the Phantom Knight extender in the deck. Very, very good card. If you have a Phantom Knight, special summon this, and then you can banish it from the graveyard to add a spell trap card. Yeah, this card's pretty good. It, a lot of times adds Fogblade, which is all the deck needs. And this deck can just kind of grind games out really well, because you can constantly just add back Fogblades and Wings to protect your field and negate your opponent's cards to make sure they don't really get to play the game. So, moving on to the last Phantom Knights, we have two copies of Ragged Gloves, mixed rarities. You already know what's up. We have one super and one common. Gloves is pretty good in this deck. He is another Foolish Burial-esque effect. He is a name, and a lot of times you can banish him, and then that's like one of your easy Levier targets, because he can put whatever you're missing into the grave to help you extend your combos. Very good card. And then we have the one Stained Greaves, rather. Stained Greaves is pretty good. This isn't really a card that I prioritize searching, but if I have access to everything else, then I will usually get him into circulation, just because his effect is pretty good. Sometimes you can combo him with Ancient Cloak, in the sense that you can use Ancient Cloak to search whatever you're missing, and if you have the Stained Greaves, you can banish Stained Greaves to special summon the card that you just searched off the Ancient Cloak. That's a pretty nice play. It means that you're putting a body on the field without committing your normal summon. So your opponent is either more likely to disrupt you or to let it go through. It's a pretty good card. And also it can summon itself when you summon a Phantom Knight while it's in the hand, so it's also a pretty nice extender. Now, for the actual extenders in the deck, we have the best extender in my opinion, and that is Kagemusha Knight. This is basically a Phantom Knight that doesn't have the tag. You normal summon a level 3, you special summon this. It's a dark level 3 warrior. It does everything that you need it to be. It's an extender. You can even normal summon if you really want to. It's level 3. It's dark. Like I said, it just does everything for the deck. It's one of the best cards in the deck, I think. And in really bad scenarios, you don't really have you're not really as explosive as PK Fire, but you can still get some decent mileage out of Kagemusha Knight by doing normal summon Kagemusha Knight, special summon Kagemusha Knight. If your hand is absolutely dog water and you have two Kagemusha Knights, you can still do that basically. Now, for my favorite extending in the deck is Infernity Conjurer. This card is so good. Oh my god, this card is clutch. I was really happy that VanillaScoop basically put an extender in the deck that is just like once per turn free body. And I think the theory in the whole deck is really nice because you're not playing hand traps, which sucks because the deck doesn't have as much defense when you're going second, but you are playing some cards to help you out a couple of things. But Infernity Conjurer is just so good. It's like this plus Bardiche plus like two like trap cards in your graveyard. That's like 4 bodies. You can basically do whatever you want, really. You can pay your taxes, buy a house, go eat ice cream, just whatever you want. This card does it for you. Now, for the dangers, we have 1 Tsushinoko and 1 Jackalope. I decided to cut the Nessie just because some of the other inclusions in the deck, I feel like Nessie is not as necessary, and these are level 3. Snack summons itself if you discard it. Jackalope summons Snack. Pretty simple. They're good extenders. They replenish themselves in terms of card advantage because you summon them and you draw cards. So sometimes they'll help. It lets you draw into like utility cards or further extenders or more disruption. They're just good cards. Wouldn't really play the deck without them. For the Psychic extenders, I am only playing 1 of each, Psychic Tracker and Weed Dealer. These cards are pretty good. If you control level 3, summon these for free. We don't really have many applications for them. We're not really synchro summoning. We're not really using the Earth target that much. They're really just either ways to get into Cherubini without committing big effects, or they are Xyz material, which is pretty solid. Now, this is sort of one of these 2 cards I sort of deviated from other builds that you see online, and I am playing 1 Terratop and 1 Takentomborg. So the reason why I decided to add Terratop is because in this deck, we play 2 copies of Levier, because Levier is absolutely cracked as a card. It just helps you extend so much, and I figured, well, because we are playing 2 Levier, if I was playing 1 Levier, maybe I wouldn't play these cards, but because we're playing 2, I don't mind playing the Takentomborg, because yes, it sucks if you open it, but it's still an extender. It's just an extender that you can only activate later into the turn. As for Terratop, this card is just amazing, right? Terratop is another card that by itself is just so insane. So I figured, like, the downside of playing Terratop is that you have to play Takentomborg, and Takentomborg is not that bad, so, Terratop is really good, so I decided, I'll try these, and they actually worked out pretty well for me. I opened Takentomborg maybe once, and even then I still ended on combo, and when I opened Terratop, it was just nuts. It was just so good. Now, for the spells, we play 1 Rhoda because it searches everything in the deck, or everything that matters. 1 Foolish Burial because it's a copy of everything in the deck. We play 1 E-Telly, so we're technically playing 3 Psychics, but we're not playing multiple copies of them. Then we are playing, these are sort of like the additional, combo pieces. These cards are all like pseudo combo cards. They kind of just help you get to where you want to be. I was kind of struggling there to pick up my cards. And then for additional spells, we have 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. I wasn't so sure if I would like the Allure of Darknesses in the deck, but let me tell you, after playing with them, this card's pretty good. You don't really care about what you banish because you'll probably summon it off Levier, and drawing 2 cards is really nice because it helps you draw into utility cards, it helps you draw into Disruption, it helps you draw into further extenders. There's just really no bad card that you can draw off Allure. Maybe Takentomborg, even then, you can then summon it off, you can just summon Levier and then you summon the Takentomborg. It's pretty nice. Now, instead of playing something like Dark Ruler or Forbidden Droplets or those expensive cards, I mean, Dark Ruler No More is pretty accessible. I am playing it in the side deck. I don't know if I'll go over the side deck. Maybe I'll just quickly go over it, but anyway, that's not relevant. What is relevant is that I'm playing 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice. Now, I tested Dark Ruler, and the card felt really good when I went second. Obviously, it's a blowout card when you go second. However, when you went first, the card was just kind of dead, and you set it as a bluff, and then sometimes your opponent would pop it. And yeah, it's really nice that you can still OTK through Dark Ruler, but I wanted a card that wasn't so committal, and I figured Chalice was pretty much perfect. You can set it as an additional disruption, and you're still 1-for-1 with your opponent. Sometimes you're 2-for-1 them if you negate something like a Link monster or a Fusion monster or an Xyz monster, which is really, really insane. And also, it helps you go second because you can target something if they have like an Apollosa. If they don't have Spell Trap Negate, you basically get rid of all their negations, and then you can start playing the game. Overall, this card was just really good. I didn't see it as much as I wanted to, but the one game that I saw was pretty nice. But online testing, this card was just pretty good. And we already played the Dark Rulers in the side deck anyway, so I figured I would test out the Chalices. And then for spell card, for back row disruption, because we are a grind deck, we don't really want to lose to things like Floodgates, because we are trying to play the game. I played Twin Twister just the reason why I played Twin Twister over something like Cosmic Cyclone was because I wanted a discard outlet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was actually like a game or two where I used the Twin Twister to pop my own trap card. I think it was like a wing, and then I basically created like another extender that was very niche. And it wasn't really the intended reason for Twin Twister. I really just wanted a discard outlet, and I wanted to pop multiple back row. But it's nice that you have the option to pop your own cards to gain more extenders. So Twin Twister is very good. Now for trap cards. 3 copies of Pogblade. This card is goated. It's just a negate and stops your opponent from targeting stops that monster effect, and also you can attack into it, and that card can't attack. Sometimes there are scenarios where if your board is in shambles, you Fogblade your own monster, and then your opponent can't attack into it. If they don't have removal, then you're basically just you can basically stall out a little bit, but if they do have removal on it, then this goes to the graveyard, and if you target something like your Bardiche, then you have Fogblade, and then you can use the Fogblade to bring back the Bardiche, and then that'll trigger Torn Scales, and you start, basically get back into the game that way. So this card is just really good. And then we play 3 copies of Phantom Knight Wing. I was playing the sword at one point, but the problem with sword is that sometimes it just sticks around on the field, and we don't really want that. We want the value from Wing to go straight into the graveyard. The 500 attack boost is nice. I mean, they functionally do the same thing. It's just that Wing puts itself into the graveyard, so Wing is better. But I tested both, but Wing is just better. And then finally, the One Shade Brigadine as another extender. It helps you go into Bardiche. It helps you go into Raider's Knight. There weren't really that many applications for it. It's still a good card because it's a name, and like I said, it's flexible that way, but I'm not always looking to get this card into circulation. But it's nice. It's nice that we have the option. Especially, it's much nicer when you combine it with Stained Greaves, because this is level 4. The thing that Stained Greaves summons is level 4. You can then go into Raider's Knight that way. That is a play that actually comes up more often than I expected it to. Now, for the extra deck, we have 1 copy of Cherubini. You go into this because of your combo. 1 copy of Bardiche. This is the card that generates you a buttload of advantage. 2 copies of Megaclops. I have mixed rarity Megaclops because I am a demon. Megaclops is basically a blowout card against decks that don't play Xyzs, and there aren't that many meta decks that are playing Xyz cards. So I figured, not that I figured, but, Megaclops is just good. Megaclops is also really insane when you combine it with the Djinns, which we'll go over in a little bit, because there's just so many insane things that you can do with it. You can use 3 Djinns going to Megaclops, and then Megaclops target Hum-Humming, bring back, Muserhythm. You can either go into a Utopic Future, or if you haven't gone into your Megaclops in the first place because your plays got interrupted, you can then go into a second one, or you can use the first one to go into the second one, which is a lot of times what happens. Anyway, Megaclops is just really good. It's 4,000 attack, which makes it really difficult to beat over, and it's immune to basically monster effects that are not Xyzs. There's not much else to say about it. For the Djinns, we are playing the 1 Muserhythm and the 2 Hum-Hummings. These cards are just so funny. Oh my god. Now, I don't have Zeus. If I had Zeus, would I play Zeus? It depends. I never really found myself needing the Zeus to outboards, just because this deck can already get rid of boards really easily between the Breaksword and the Bardiche and then the Megaclops and your trap cards and Chalice, so I never really find myself needing to break boards even further with Zeus, and I'll much rather convert these guys into the card that you'll see at the end of the extra deck. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Djinns. And then for combo, you also need 2 copies of Leviair. Very good. Not once per turn. Should this card be limited or semi-limited or banned? No, the card's good. The card's just good. For the Phantom Knights, we have 2 copies of Breaksword. Very, very nice. You need 1 for combo. Sometimes you don't need to go into it, but it's nice that it's there if you do want to go into some alternate routes, or just putting it in the graveyard so you have a target for Bardiche interruption, because yes, this deck wants to turbo out Megaclops, but there are certain matchups where you value the straight up disruption of Bardiche more, so it's still nice that you can do that. And then you need, just having 2 means that you can grind much better. one Raider's Knight, and one Arc Rebellion. Arc Rebellion is basically your finisher. If they're not already dead from the Mega Clops, then, you know, this is just even more damage. If they left anything in attack mode, then they're pretty much doomed. And finally, since when VanillaScoop made the deck profile, these cards were not out yet, but they are out now, and that is the Utopic Future and the Utopic Draco Future. So, how do these cards perform? Pretty well, actually. Just having the option to, if you don't do the full Mega Clops combo, a lot of the times you can end on, say, for example, Bardiche plus Draco Future. That is a Negate plus Mind Control, and then a pop of Bardiche, and probably a Fogblade. That's still three forms of interruption, which is really nice. Also, the card can be destroyed by battle or card effects, which makes it really difficult to out. It's really easy to go into because you have things like your Leviers are not number monsters, your Breakswords are not number monsters, and your Djinns are not number monsters. So pretty much like everything in the deck can go into it. So it's just really, really easy to go into it. Did I miss the Evil Swarm Nightmare? Not really. So I'm glad that I played these cards. They were just really, really nice. Now, we are approaching a really long video, so I will quickly just go over what I had in the side deck. Maybe I'm missing a couple of cards, but I don't keep card count, do you? One Pankratops, it's good for breaking boards. One Lancia as a hand trap because it discards itself. One triple copies of Book of Moon because I don't know, I wanted to play triple copies of Book of Moon. It's pretty good against decks like Zoo and Tribrigade that need to be on the field to resolve certain effects. You basically have more ways to disrupt them, because sometimes you don't necessarily want to side in the 3 copies of Dark Ruler no more. You want to side something like Book of Moon. It's just an option. I also had 3 copies of Evenly Matched. It's pretty nice. And then Red Reboot and Imperial Order. Was this 15? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm running out of time, and I feel like I've been talking for a while. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my take on the VanillaScoop Grind Djinn PK deck. If you guys, again, did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.